what is your guys' opinion on the Syrian refugee crisis?
Oh my gosh. Did you hear me talking about it? In what aspect?
What do you think about them coming over here, or would you rather them
Not to come over here?
Yeah.
I think it's a very difficult situation, but I do think we need to open up our whatever hearts and borders a little bit more, our arms a little bit more, because these people are escaping this country that they've been living in and their families have, and it's too hostile for them. I just want to survive like everyone else, and they're trying to go to these places that aren't welcoming them because they're associated with the people in their country that are causing all this bad stuff in the world. But I think that we as Americans need to be a little bit more understanding. Like, these people aren't bad just because they come from a place where bad people because most of them are families and they're just trying to do good for them.
Yeah.
Okay. What are your opinions on the Syrian refugees on terms of coming to this country, or if they should, or if safe zones, or what are your thoughts?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I haven't really studied the subject all that much, so I'm just based upon what limited information I do have. But there is a danger of, I think, of ISIS and extremists coming into the country. I think they need to be carefully screened. I'm not against them coming here, but I think they definitely need to be screened very carefully and very thoroughly.
You think it was stricter rules on them coming in, more background checks of the sort? Okay, and then do you know about safe zones and stuff like that?
No, explain safe zones.
So safe zones are setting the UN task forces and stuff like that. They set up zones within their prospective countries, within their own, so they can stay there while the war plays out, so they could safely live at home and live out the war instead of coming here.
Yeah, well, that would be the preferred thing. I mean, that's...
But are you willing to send troops over, is the thing?
That's a hard question, because you don't want to put guys, men and women, in harm's way.
Exactly.
That's a subject that, you never want to put our people in harm's way unnecessarily. But if it creates a safer environment here in light of what happened in San Bernardino, I say, that's their job. That's what they're trained to do. Unfortunately, that's what they signed up to do. My father was a former Marine. I have family that were in the Army, other family members are Marines, so I don't take that decision lightly, not at all. But if it creates a safer environment here, it is their war, it is their battle, but I don't want their extremists coming here and having another repeat of what happened in San Bernardino.
Yeah.
We need to keep our country safe, and that's why we have a military. That's why these people signed up to do what they do, and I fully honor and respect what they do, but it is a dangerous question that, I don't, one American life is precious and valuable.
Protect our own.
We live right next to where we're staying. We're staying right next to where someone was killed in San Bernardino. So it's very close to home to us.
Yeah, yes, very.
So I would prefer the safe zones versus them coming here. Why not keep them in their own country or keep them in an area, and then do what we did in other countries, is train them to protect themselves.
Thank you very much.
Luke.
Hi, everybody. Hi.
What is your opinion on the Syrian refugee crisis?
Well, I could spend the next hour and a half talking about it, but there wouldn't be a Syrian refugee crisis if the world, the bulk of the world, especially Europe and the United States, did not have this idea of open borders. They would be stopped and they would be turned around and they would be sent back to their country of origin. Some say this is they're seeking political asylum. Some say this is a humanitarian effort. The United States is not the world's police, and we're not the world's caretaker, nor is Europe. Over 80% of the world lives in poverty. How can the other 10% afford to take care of all those 80%? In addition, these people are not interested in assimilating into the cultures of Europe or into the cultures of the United States of America. You can easily Google and look at how crime rates have risen in countries that did not have crime, how they've moved into towns, taken over those towns, those cities, and have pushed out those people that lived in those cities prior because they do not want to assimilate. And nor do the bulk of these citizens want to assimilate into their Muslim culture. Let's face it, the Muslims are the ones coming to Europe and the United States, not the other way around. They also, if you Google the caliphate, Google Sharia law, and Google those two statements relative to the Quran, and you'll understand that this is not about fleeing Syria or fleeing other parts of the Middle East for humanitarian reasons or for political asylum. This is all about the caliphate, and people need to understand what that means.
So what is your opinion on the safe zones?
Safe zones, I think that's great. And let the UN do it. They're pretty much an impotent organization as it is. Maybe they can be effective in handling these people within their country of origin. This is not our problem, even though we've stuck our nose in the Middle East when we shouldn't have. Still, the refugee crisis is not our problem. They can set up safe zones there. They can be monitored by the United Nations. They can be secured and patrolled by the United Nations. These people will have food, clothed and fed. And once the civil war winds down in Syria, then they can go back to their lives as they were before.
Thank you.
Hey, Bodhi, did you pay attention?